I'm tired of people using their cars as biographical information centers, informing the world of their sad sack lives and boring interests. Keep that shit to yourself. I don't want to know what college you went to, who you intend to vote for, or what your plan is for world peace. I don't care if you visited the Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, or the birthplace of Wink Martindale, and I'm not interested in what radio station you listen to or what bands you like. In fact, I'm not interested in you in any way except to see you in my rear view mirror. Furthermore, I can do without your profession of faith in God, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Peter Cottontail, whoever the fuck it is you've turned your life over to. Please, keep your superstitions private. I can't tell you how happy it would make me to someday drive up to a flaming auto wreck and see smoke curling up around one of those little fish symbols with Jesus written inside it. And as far as I'm concerned, you can include the Darwin fish with feet evolution symbol, too. Far too cute for my taste. So keep the personal and autobiographical messages to yourself. Here's an idea. Maybe you could paste them up inside your car, where you can see them and I can't. Here's another segment of the bumper sticker population that ought to be locked into portable toilets and set on fire. The ones who want us to know how well their kids are doing in school. Doing well, that is, according to today's lowered standards. We are the proud parents of an honors student at the Franklin School, or the Midvale Academy, or whatever other innocent-sounding name has been assigned to the indoctrination center where their child has been sent to be stripped of his individuality and turned into an obedient, soul-dead conformist member of the American consumer culture. What kind of empty people need to validate themselves through the achievements of a child? How would you like to live with a couple of these blockheads? Say, Justin, how's that science project coming along? Fuck you, Dad, you simple-minded prick. Mind your own business and pass the Fruit Loops. Fucking cunt dork. Here are a few parental bumper stickers I'd like to see. We are the proud parents of a child whose self-esteem is sufficient that he doesn't need us promoting his minor scholastic achievements on the back of our car. That would be refreshing. We are the proud parents of a child who has resisted his teacher's attempts to break his spirit and bend him to the will of his corporate masters. A little Marxist, but what the fuck? Here's something realistic. We have a daughter in public school who hasn't been knocked up yet. And for the boy, we have a son in public school who hasn't shot any of his classmates yet. But he does sell drugs to your honors student. Plus, he knocked up your daughter. And what about those parents who aren't too proud of their children? We are the embarrassed parents of a cross-eyed, drooling little nitwit who, at the age of 10, not only continues to wet the bed, but also shits on the school bus. Something like that on the back of the car might give the child a little more incentive. Get him to try a little harder next semester. Here's another item you can't see while it's still on your body. A scab on the top of your head. Did you ever have that? Sure you have. A little scab on the top of your head. Not a big, red, juicy blood scab like you get when someone at work hits you in the head with a Stilson wrench. Just a little scaly, scabby, dry spot. You find it one day by accident when you're scratching your head. You come across it as if by good luck. Whoa, what's this? A scab. Hot shit. A scab. I love fucking scabs. This is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to pick off my scab and look at it. Oh boy, I can't wait to pick off my scab and place it down on a contrasting material such as a black velvet tablecloth in order to see it in greater relief. Oh boy, I can't wait to pick off my scab. This is going to be a lot of fun. Wait just a minute. It's not ready to come off yet. It's immature. It's still not ripe. It's not ready for plucking. I'll save this for Thursday. Thursday will be a good day. I have only half a day of work on Thursday. I'll come home early, masturbate in the kitchen, wash the floor, and then I'll watch the Montel Williams show. And while I do, I'll pick off my scab. Oh boy, I can't wait to pick off my scab. This is going to be a lot of fun. So you wait, and you wait. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you try not to knock it off by accident with the little plastic comb you bought in the vending machine at the Easy Living Motel when you hooked up with the two skanky-looking chicks who gave you the clap that night. And now, finally, Thursday arrives. It's harvest time on the top of your head. So you come home early, and you masturbate, but you do it in your sister's bedroom just to give it a little extra thrill, know what I mean? Then you shampoo the rug, and you watch the Montel Williams show. Pretty interesting topic. Women who take it up the ass for 50 cents. Not the best show he's ever done, but you know something? Not bad either. And now it's time to go get this little scab. But you want to proceed carefully. You want to pry this thing off slowly and evenly around the perimeter of the scab, so that it lifts off all in one piece. You don't want it to break into pieces. Who needs a fragmented scab? Not me. I don't need parts that badly. I'm not that disturbed. What you really want, what you really need, what you really must have, is a complete, whole scab you can set down, study, make notes on, and perhaps write a series of penetrating articles for Scab Aficionado magazine. Who knows? You might rise to the top of the scab world in a big hurry. It's a small community, and they need people at the top. And so you proceed, with a single fingernail extended, always choosing your best peeling and scraping nail. You find your way through the thicket of hair and locate the target. You make a careful initial probe, and surprisingly, the prey yields easily, coming off all in one piece. And you lift it off carefully, through the hair, and position it on the tip of your picking finger. And you look at the little thing, so pathetic there on your finger, isolated, alone, out of its environment, and your heart begins to melt. So you take your new friend carefully between thumb and forefinger and gently place it back on your head, setting it loose in the wild, and you feel the better man. You're in harmony with your body. Think of it as catch and release. While we Americans have been busy creating politically correct euphemisms for old people, thereby making their lives infinitely easier, we've also been working on our poor people language problem. And we now have language that takes all the pain out of being poor. Having no money these days is easier than ever. I can remember when I was young that poor people lived in slums. Not anymore. These days, the economically disadvantaged occupy substandard housing in the inner cities. It's so much nicer for them. And yet they're still considered socially marginal. But as it turns out, many of these socially marginal people receive public assistance, once known as welfare. Before that, it was called being on relief or being on the dole. And at that time, being on the dole was the worst thing you could say about a family. They're on the dole. People were ashamed. It was tough to get a date if you were on the dole. But public assistance, that sounds good. Who of us hasn't benefited from some form of public assistance? Even huge businesses and agricultural interests receive public assistance. Ditto all the wealthiest taxpayers. So apparently there's no shame attached to being on the dole after all. In this country, about the only thing worse than having no money is having no place to live. And over the years, those with no place to live have had many different names. Vagrants, tramps, hobos, drifters, and transients come to mind. Which name applied to a person sometimes depended on his, God, this is difficult to say, lifestyle. There, it's out. But can having no place to live actually be a lifestyle? Well, it seems to me that if you're going to use a questionable word like lifestyle at all, you should be forced to use it across the board. After all, if there's a gay lifestyle, which I doubt, and a suburban lifestyle, which seems more arguable, it stands to reason there must be a homeless lifestyle. And even, one would assume, a prison lifestyle. Indeed, is it possible that those doomed souls in places like Buchenwald were actually enjoying a concentration camp lifestyle? If they were, don't tell their families. You'll be misunderstood. And taking this unfortunate word to its ultimate logical extreme, I will not be surprised to someday see one of those spiritual mediums doing a TV show called Lifestyles of the Dead. Incidentally, shouldn't a group of mediums be called media? Just asking. Back to the subject. Vagrants, tramps, hobos, drifters, and transients. Without using a dictionary, which in many cases is no help at all, here are the distinctions I picked up in years past by listening to how people used these words. The sense I got was vagrants simply had no money. Tramps and hobos had no money, but they moved around. Drifters moved around, but occasionally worked for a while, and then drifted on, whereas tramps and hobos didn't work at all. We'll get to transients in a moment. There's one other distinction between tramps and hobos that I think is worth mentioning. The word tramp might also have been used to describe the young woman your son brought home. Rarely did anyone's son bring home a hobo, unless, of course, he was into the gay hobo lifestyle. Actually, there weren't too many gay hobos. That's because if a hobo didn't have a home, he certainly didn't have a closet either to be in or come out of. Sudden thought. Hobo rhymes with homo.